Good evening and welcome to the Chicago Communicator News Media On Point. And this evening, we're going to be on point with a discussion about our political system, holding our politicians accountable for the things they say they're going to do when they're running for election. And when they're in office, we want to see exactly what they've done related to what they said they were going to do. I'd like to welcome to the show Sandra Campbell. And
Hi.
thank you for joining me, Sandra. And Grady is trying to join us, but thus far he hasn't been successful at that venture. So, what do you think about the process we might be able to use to hold our politicians accountable for the things they promise us during their their campaigns, and then when they get in office, some of them, I don't know, maybe they even forget how they got there,
I
because it
agree.
seems like they're only beholden to those that support them financially. And
Hmm.
so we need to, I think, the message needs to be that we understand that you have to financially support these politicians in order for them to respond to your requests.
And
And I
that doesn't
thought it was
all
another way, but that seems to be the way it is.
well,
Go
that
ahead,
doesn't
Sam.
always work either because they've had individuals who have paid a lot of money to politicians, and that's when we see them on television when they make the headlines saying that they're going to be coming up on charges of fraud and illegal campaign contributions and so forth on. But they have the lobbyists who are in Congress who again normally serve that purpose. They have lobbyists also in your various states, and they even have people at the local level, which again we're talking about then your local businesses who again will give a huge donation. They also get the newspapers and other
Mhm.
respected journal publications to turn around and say that again they would recommend or sponsor them, for
Right.
that position of their support of show support for that election or re-election. But I think the biggest way and the main way that they should be held accountable is through the voting process because that's the only way you're going to get them out of office. But
Right.
unfortunately, so many people have become disenfranchised or so disillusioned, and so many of them have been given a lot of misinformation about the process. Many people, and even on our last show, we had a young person even tell us that they don't think their vote counts, and therefore they don't even participate in the process, which is the biggest mistake anyone
Oh,
could ever
yeah,
make.
that's true.
Because
That's
I
the
don't
big.
care what it is, if you're not in it or involved in it, you can't effectively introduce any kind of change. You're going to be stuck with the outcome of others. And again, be they paid or be they voted in, or if they stole the election or whatever they're doing, voter fraud, you
Right.
can call it whatever you want to call it. But
Hmm.
no, regardless, the result is the same. You've got that same lousy politician,
Right.
or you just got this fool elected into that position, and then good luck trying to get him or her out once that has occurred,
Right.
because they've already seen that you're not going to participate.
Right.
And I
That's
believe
unfortunate.
one of the things that we have to do, those of us that been there done that, we need to ensure that they don't become so discouraged. Our young folks, and not just even young. I'm not going to even set it on young. You probably,
Right.
if you were do a poll, you probably would find them from ages of 18 to 98, where
Okay.
they've decided that they're not going to participate anymore for whatever reason. It's not just a black thing. There are
Yeah.
whites, there are Asians, there are Hispanics. Many of them people who are just disillusioned, depressed, disenfranchised,
Yeah.
fed up
Yeah.
with the politicians and what they keep trying to promise. Another thing is you need to know what these people can and cannot do.
That's
Okay?
true. We need to know what the offices represent. Each political office. What does that political office supposed to offer to the public? And people need to be clear on that, because I hear people wanting to say something to the president about something that's going on local. And I don't think they understand how politics works.
Right.
And they need that needs to be taught.
Well, this is why I'm going to turn and I'm going to now kick this ball back into your lane. Well,
Okay.
that's what good media folks are supposed to do.
Is that what we're supposed to do? Oh,
good media folks are
Hmm.
supposed to put on those topics again, where we explain what does an alderman do? What is an alderman's roles and
Okay.
responsibilities? What is the role of a state senator or a state representative? What, again, some people don't even know the difference in the two. Okay.
Yes.
What is the
Yes.
difference between a U.S. congressman / representative and the difference between a U.S. senator? What
Yes.
roles do they play? You know,
Yes.
what does the judicial system, because what is the Supreme Court? And we're not going to get into this conversation because many of them are mad about their ruling. Well, that is just like when we send anybody else to court. If we don't like the law that's been made by whomever, and we want to challenge that law or that verdict, you have an appeals court, even in our states and even in our county system, where
That's
you
right.
can get that appealed. Well, that's the way it goes when there's a law for the land. They go to who? The Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, to say, hey, throw that law out. This law was related to that law, which is a law that was created by the U.S. Congress, because that's what Congress does. Congress makes laws.
All
They make
right.
laws, legislation. That's why they call them legislators. They're the ones that make the laws. They use the Constitution based on what the Constitution says and based on what we are needing the nation at that time. That's how the U.S. works on it. And guess what, folks? The state has a constitution, and that
Yes.
state rep and that state senator does the same thing, but at the state level.
At
Then
the
guess what,
state
folks?
level.
Your alderman or your councilman, because your township, your city, they got the township, the village, and the cities, and all of them are different and incorporated differently, which makes one different from the other. Those
Okay.
people that sit there on those councils and committees as aldermen and whatnot, that's their job, to the laws of that city. So when you're not
Ooh,
happy with what's
teach.
going on, that's where you go. And this is how you start holding them accountable. One would say, that's a lot of work. Yeah, life is a lot of work. Nice. Did you try living? Living requires work.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
lot of work to this thing called living. That's why I tell
Yes.
these young people that, as I have a grandchildren. I have one that is grown, emancipated. She's 20, going on 21. The next one
Okay.
is 16 and about to turn 17 in October.
Uh-oh.
The next one is 15 and about to turn 16 in September. The next one is 14 and about to turn 15 this month on
Go
the
on,
28th.
Grandma.
Then the youngest, who is only 8, he shares a birthday with the 20 to soon will be 21-year-old, and he'll be
Whoa.
9. And that's
9
what I
years
keep
old.
telling the younger ones. Being grown ain't all it's cracked up to be.
It's so it's so
Lies.
oh Lord, it's a lot of responsibility and a
Yes.
lot of accountability if you
Yes.
exist in the fashion that you choose,
Correct.
not
And I mean,
the
and
fashion that the
the-
penal system chooses.
and that's a whole nother conversation. Just being grown, if you don't do nothing else, but being grown, like your parents, you hear people say they need to get their grown butt up and go get a job. They need to get up and get out their parents' house. When you get 18, you got to get a job, or you got to go to
Yeah.
college, or even when
Yeah.
you're going to college, you need to get a job, because it's not my responsibility
That's
to
right.
take care of your wants. I take care of your needs. And
That's right.
once you're an adult, and see that right there, that's the thing that I tell a lot of parents, as they should. I think when you got a 14, 15, 16-year-old that's working, even if they're working a little boo-boo job, you need to give them some responsibility.
Uh-huh.
They need to pay some kind of bill,
Mhm.
or pay on a bill, or contribute
Mhm.
to the household, because
Yes.
that's when they start learning that life is not a free pass.
That's right. It's not.
And that
And
again,
they should not even want to do that anyway.
well,
They should want to
but that's-
donate or
that's a whole-
contribute to the
that's-
household because they're part of the household. That's
Well,
what.
now we're talking about upbringing, but see, like you said, teaching them that you are part of something bigger or greater than yourself gets you prepared for the political process.
Exactly.
Because again, those people sitting in Congress, although they represent the 50 states of the United States of America, we as a collective come to say that this is what we agree that should happen in our country.
Okay.
That this is how this should work. And then again, break it down. So that's what we say. Well, that's how we work on from a country level, from a universe, a national level. But now we're going to break it down how we do as a state. So then again, we want these laws for the state of Illinois. We want this, and they're kind of broad. But then again, it gives us the opportunity when you get to the city, the township, or the village. Then that's when you start making it fit that group. That's when you get the micro aspect of that macro policy.
Oh.
Now you get the micro of it because now you're talking about locally. This is what I want to do. And this is what I want.
That is so great. That was a wonderful breakdown of our political system. And I hope that you guys listening observed her, the way she took each level and broke it down for you. And you can always come back and listen to this show again because it's going to broadcast on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Omnibus. Let's see, that would be youtube.com/Omnibus Roundtable TV show. And it also will broadcast on CAN TV on the Omnibus show. And that date is going to be flexible. I don't know it directly now, so I'll just say be sure to tune in on Wednesdays at 9:30 on Channel 19 and Thursdays at 4:30 on Channel 19. And you will not miss this show. So, Sandra, I thought that I would share something I got from YouTube about holding our political system accountable.
Let's see it.
Yeah, and let's see what you think about this. Let's see. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to do that again because I'm supposed to put these two buttons right here on so you can hear it and then share it. That's what I'm supposed to do. Oh, select it and share it. Now I can play it.
Do you know who funds political parties in your country? Or how much money a politician makes as a side income? This information is hard to find, as it is often dispersed and difficult to access. When available, it usually is complicated for machines to read it or has errors, making it not really accessible for citizens. How can journalists and oversight agencies hold politicians to account if they do not know who funds them, who they meet, and what could influence their decision-making? Transparency International has developed the online tool Integrity Watch that makes relevant data accessible. You can search, rank, and filter information on a wide range of data, such as lobby meetings, donations to political parties, the financial interests of politicians, or their reported side activities. The data comes from the websites of the European Commission, the European Parliament, and of national institutions in different EU countries. The Integrity Watch platforms are useful for detecting possible conflicts of interests, revolving doors, and other political integrity risks, and they contribute to transparency and integrity in the EU and in national politics, and promote the much-needed participation of society. Learn more at transparency.org/IntegrityWatch.
I thought it was interesting to find out that kind of attracted me because I have always thought that politicians respond to people who donate to their campaigns. And then I started thinking, so how do I know who's doing that donation? And is that the way that the politician I need to be able to, I mean, am I going to be able to observe the way the politician responds to that contributor? I don't know. I really believe that. I don't believe they vote for their districts. I think they vote
Well,
for people that support
well,
them.
well, I can tell you again. We talked about the lobbyists.
Yes.
That list of lobbyists and what the companies in their names too. They are available.
Okay.
Congress used to put out a book. It was really great. And after things became more digitalized,
Yeah.
the book went away. But the websites are available. And my grandson and I, we were just talking. He's not available right now because I would ask him. There is a way where you can find those sites that will let you know what lobbyists and what companies have lobbied the congressmen and who those congressmen are and how those congressmen have voted for those interests or those causes. Because I mean, all of them are supporting some kind of interest or cause. First of all, let's be fair. There is no one, that's how they got elected in the first place, that is not up there already supporting some organization, some interest, or some cause. Okay. But
so does that mean we need to form some kind of cause that will address the issues that we have with our youth coming together to vote?
We have lobbyists that represent those organizations. That's the great thing about belonging to these national organizations. Those national organizations have lobbyists and have people in contact with them, with those politicians, not only at the U.S. level nationally, but also at the state and local levels. Also, if they have their presence in, depending on the number of members they have and how strong their presence is in that particular state, city, village, township, but they have and I'll just use NRA, again, the American Lung Association, the American Civil Liberties Union. I mean, you've got lawyers and attorneys, and again, they have colleagues and friends. They have ways of bringing forth their issues. Again, even if they're not officially lobbying, or if they are officially lobbying. You have the National Women's League of Voters. That's another group, who are there for women's interests. I mean, there's so many organizations, and I don't want to slight anybody if I'm not naming them or trying to say that these are better than others. But I'm just telling you the ones I know that have been around for a while, and they're kind of the ones that come off the top of my head that I can remember right away, who again play a role in the laws being changed, not only to work for the people in the past, but also working for people present day, and even sometimes in the future, because they can see what's coming down the pipe.
Okay.
So
what would you suggest? What would you suggest be the forward direction we should take to establish some kind of a strategy?
Get involved with an organization. Get involved with an organization, even locally. Again, a reputable, a credible organization, a 501c3/ who also has 501c4, which gives them the opportunity to address political interests and entities, and get involved. And even if you get involved at the lowest level, even with the 501c3, here's the great thing about America. If you just get involved with a 501c3, that 501c3 has to register. That 501c3 is nonprofit. They have an interest, again, and they're getting money and dollars from various donors. Donors Forum is still out there and very popular. And if you want to be doing something, and they got rules and regulations how a 501c3 could even collect money now since 9/11. So based on those rules and regulations, you get to see which politicians or what other groups and organizations support your same concerns and viewpoints. And there's nothing like collaboration and hooking up with them and to further promote just like, and I'm saying this because it's a hot issue, like
Okay.
Planned Parenthood. People don't know, they thought about Planned Parenthood, and the first thing, depending on who you are, you think about Planned Parenthood when it comes to abortions. No, Planned Parenthood also comes to, they talk about contraceptives, but they also talk about what? Planned Parenthood. You had people who wanted to have children who weren't having children. They go for the advice and they get the kind of health that they need. Maybe they've got some kind of problems with their reproductive system,
Okay.
and that they may not be aware of, and they need to go, and they haven't been going to the doctor. Maybe they haven't seen a physician, so they would get that person on the right track. And some of them may have had some diseases that they weren't even aware of, and
Wow.
long standing, because they didn't get the medical help that they needed. So, which again probably would affect them being a parent somewhere in the future. Everybody that went to Planned Parenthood wasn't a kid. They helped the younger folks, but you had grown, emancipated people who had problems, and that was a way to go, and it was free. And I think they eventually became sliding scale, which meant they went based on your income. If you could afford to pay, you paid. If you couldn't pay, even if your pay was $5 or your pay was $3 or $1 or nothing, and they go by whatever rules that are set forth so they can receive their funding. Okay.
Yes.
And
Makes sense.
they're doing different things in different communities based on what? Community need.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the needs differ from community to community. So again, here's someone, and Planned Parenthood, they have lobbyists, they have people supporting their cause. They have congressmen and senators who rally behind what they do, and judges. So they're going to get that support. You see what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
So,
Oh yeah, makes sense. Yes.
Again, another one that everybody likes, clean water.
Yeah.
We keep hearing about
Yes.
Flint.
Yes.
And see how Flint was wronged, and some of the things they violated. So again, start supporting the cause. Ecology. The city of Chicago has gardens. Well, that money comes from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
For their seeds and their vegetables. You see how from a federal standpoint, it trickles all the way down to your block.
Yes.
If that's what you support. So if you need safety, everybody's on safety issue. Police. Policing and community policing. Again, and I agree, some police are off the chain, but at the same time, I would say, are we equipped to police our own communities?
Well, we better learn how to get equipped, because I think police should look like the people they are policing.
Well, we tried that. Chicago got a lot of Black folks and Hispanic and Asian police. Are they any better than the white ones? Not necessarily so. So again, that's another thing. So you see how sometimes just through daily stuff, and even when we get what we think we want and what we've asked for, somebody has to still come in and critique it. That's why you're always involved. You can't just sit on your laurels. Yes. You got to make sure that person, just because you look like me, and that's one thing I tell people, I am Black, I am a chocolate, fair-skinned woman, and my grandson told me to quit saying this, but I say when I walk into the room, the first thing you see is that I'm Black, then you see that I'm a woman. He says the first thing he wants people to see when he walks in the room is that he's a representation of God.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
Black, then he's, you know what I'm saying? So the younger people, again, things change. Society changes communication and language and how effective we communicate. And so does society changes the way we think and what our expectations are.
That's true.
So
That's true.
You're right. So now that we have the Black officers, the brown and officers also in the community with us, are they appropriate?
I don't know. It's still a whole lot going on. It's still a whole lot.
So now we got a new concern, because just because you Black like me, don't mean you've experienced what I've experienced.
That's true.
And I need to come. Do I need to come with you being kind of a hard ass, or do I need to come to you with compassion and empathy, and help you feel safe? And what does that mean for your community? Being safe for your community is ever present in some places where I can always see a cop. But being safe in my community may mean I can park my car and not worry about somebody vandalizing it at night.
Yeah.
Because I can't see you and watch you during the day when I go to sleep at night. I need to know my stuff is still safe. And if I leave my neighborhood, when I come back, will my house be there and not have been burglarized or
Yeah.
vandalized? Because again, that's what safety means to me. I don't have to see you as long as I'm still safe and I feel safe. I don't have to ever see a blue and white. Because as long as my stuff is safe and I come home, come
Right.
to and fro, and I go to and fro, I figure the police is doing their job. Now, because
Makes sense.
if they weren't, there'd be some people coming through here taking advantage and doing what they want to do. But I know you on your job, and the people, the word is out. Don't go over in that community because police will arrest your butt. You may not see them; they not standing out there, but do something. Do something before you can finish doing it. They got you. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I got you. I got you. I
so
got
you
you.
see, our needs are different, and
Yeah.
so when they come into my community, you need to come into my community, assess what my needs are,
Yeah.
and then you start to work for me. So
All
even though
right.
we got that first thing we asked for, that was somebody that looked like us. Now we need to have somebody who thinks like us, or
Yes.
what they understand our concerns, and that's what they're working toward, and making sure that we're okay. Well, that may not be happening. So then, do we say the whole process failed us, or did we say
No.
these individuals failed us? And moreover, how do we fix it?
Yeah,
Again,
that's it.
talk to your alderman, because guess what? The superintendent of police and the district commanders are all quasi political positions, because if
Huh?
enough aldermen start to complain, along with enough other community activists and stuff, those people are out the door. Yeah,
Wow.
the mayor does appoint them, but here's the word: appointed. You can always be fired and unappointed. Same with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Secretary of Department of Defense, Secretary of this. All of those,
Teach.
all of those got to be approved by the Congress and the people. Let the
Okay.
people come and say something's wrong. Not only under 45's leadership did we see that process go out the window, but corruption breed corruptions. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that. And every Republican is not corrupt. That's a lie too. Just like every Democrat is not for the people.
That's right.
Lies they all tell. Okay,
They all tell lies. It's a
lies they
line
tell.
system. It's a
But
line system.
it's on us, the voter, the constituent, to make sure that we have someone in these various offices that represent us, that represent our needs and address our concerns. And when they don't, guess what you do? You don't sit up there and start complaining to your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your best friend, your sister, and your brother. You vote their asses out.
Come on,
That's
man.
what you do. That's what you do for them. You
And
don't
when you
say,
got
"Oh,
a
I
law
ain't gonna
that you
vote."
don't like, you change the
You have to.
legislation.
You don't. I ain't gonna do it. No, it didn't make me sick. I ain't gonna vote. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. If you voted the fool in, what makes you think you don't need to vote to get him out?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. What we working with? And you don't never get so disgusted and so overwhelmed and so discouraged that you allow